Yeah, we got a lot of good arms, but being here for the last couple of weeks and getting to be around these guys regularly, you see the preparation and the routines that these guys have. There's some different stuff that I haven't seen before, some stuff that I use in my own routine, but everyone prepares extremely well, and I think when you're prepared, it allows you to go out there and not have stress and anxiety or a doubt. Those things all seem to set in when you feel unprepared. So I think the level of preparation has been really strong.
What kind of things, if you don't mind sharing, and how do you think that can maybe, I guess, breed maybe a product that's better than the some of its parts? The fact that you have so many guys from so many different experiences who have done so much.
Yeah, I mean, there's always guys to pick stuff from. Even the guys that have, like Snell and Darvish and myself that have pitched in the postseason and played on the biggest stage possible. There's tons of stuff that we can learn from some of these younger guys. And as the older guys or the more experienced guys, I should say, we're trying to stress the importance of routine and preparation. We had a long talk this morning just about the ultimate goal of this is of a routine is to be the best you can on that day that you start and try to feel as consistent as you can on those start days. So at a young age and in your first year or two in the big leagues, if you can get a solid routine down and not something that you feel married to, that you can't stray from or you can't adjust, because as we get into September, October, everyone's routine, I'm sure, is going to adjust a little bit to make sure that we're, as strong and fresh as we can be come time to play the most important games. But I think just starting that stuff at a young age and young in your career is extremely important.
What do you take from a start like this, where you were able to go out of the stretch for the first time? You know the pitches that you didn't make. What is it that you learned today?
Yeah, I think the first one, it's kind of just getting the feel of having runners on base and controlling the running game is a big piece of my game. I take a lot of pride in the fact that I haven't had very many stolen base attempts and haven't had hardly any successful stolen bases against me in the last handful of years. So holding runners on, varying my times, being able to be comfortable just holding the baseball and not being in such a hurry to pitch and get the guy at the plate out, but making sure I'm doing my job of keeping that guy close so I give our infield every chance to turn a double play and, mix it in multiple pickoffs. I had some fast runners on base and base stealers, so getting to work on that a little bit was something I took away from today.
Marty Caswell.
Hi, Joe. You said you guys had a conversation this morning. Who leads the way on that conversation in the pitching staff?
Larry's kind of initiating these things. He got us together, but Blake brought up the idea of sharing some of our routines and just different ideas and things that have worked for all of us. And a lot of us found some common ground in what we do, and that being a big part of our routine. So I think it's something that kind of has to happen organically. It's kind of tough when you put guys on the spot in front of a room of people and expect them to share everything that they do. Those are more intimate settings, I think, where it's one-on-one on the field after a game of catch or while you're in the gym getting your day after lift in. Someone sees you doing something, just coming up and asking, hey, why are you doing that, or what are you getting out of that? I think it's going to happen real organically, but Blake brought it up and I thought it was a perfect time to do it. Now's the time where we need to start really getting involved in our routines and taking ownership of them so that it'll pay off for us come September, October.
Is that the role that you are comfortable with as well? You seem like you would be, and that you might be more assertive when it comes to that group, but how do you see your role amongst that pitching staff?
Yeah, this is kind of cheesy, but something I heard in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization was, trying to have a white belt mentality, which is kind of just a corny way of saying like you're never good enough, you're never too good to learn something from someone else. So whether you know as much as you can know or you don't know anything, just having the approach of I can always learn something, I can always grab something from somebody. So in those meetings, I enjoy listening to the younger guys just as much as I do listening to guys like Darvish and Snell. I've always personally done better when it's more of a one-on-one intimate setting than I am getting up in front of a room and speaking. But all the guys here, I feel comfortable around these guys. I feel comfortable sharing things. I know the importance of sharing the things that we've learned, especially, like I said, the three of us that have played in the postseason in the World Series. There's things there that you can try to do the best job you can of explaining what it's like, but you can't do it until you're there. So just stressing the importance of preparing as much as you can so that when you get out there and before the guy even gets in the box and sees a pitch, you feel like you're more prepared and more ready than that guy you're facing.
And now that we are upon the 1-year anniversary of COVID shutting down sports, in many ways, life as we know it, how will you remember the past year that was?
Is that today?
I think it's today. Yes.
Wow. So, I think last year I made my 5 inning start on the same day, and after I came out of the game in my post game interview, just like this, they told me that everything was shut down and that we were going home. So I guess sometime during the day it happened. But I don't know. Over the last year, you tried to take the approach of trying to get better at something. It's very easy to sit back and enjoy the time off and use COVID restrictions as an excuse to not do certain things. But it allowed me to improve in a lot of different areas. I read a lot more. I worked a lot more on my stretching mobility because you don't need a gym to do that stuff. We created tons of balance and coordination and stability exercises. I really dove into my pitch plan or my pitch design and my game planning of how I like to attack lineups and what information is the most valuable to me. So we really just tried to make it productive time and not just use the downtime as an excuse to give the bodies the rest that we all want. I feel good. I mean, we put a little different spin on the preparation leading up to this year, knowing that it was going to be a longer year, and especially being part of this team where we expect to play deep into the postseason. So I mean, there's a few things that I've added into my routine over the course of the last few seasons, and a big piece of it is just giving your body the time in the day to recover and rest after a start. Not throwing the next day, doing nothing but cardio, workout, mobility, everything I can do to try to put my body back in the shape it was before I made the outing. And when you're in these 2-inning, 3-inning outings, it's not that detrimental to your body, but when you're going 7+ and 100 pitches, you do 100 reps of anything from one side, you're going to be a little bit lopsided, a little bit kind of torqued coming out of that outing. So I put a lot of importance on getting my body back into shape to be able to throw and to be able to move the way that I want to move. So that's a big piece of it, but ultimately it's not much different than I felt in the last couple of years. I'm sure as we start to get stretched out to the 5-6 inning mark, that's when guys will usually notice the biggest jump in how they recover and stuff. But ever since I changed my arm motion a little bit and started doing those things like taking the day off after and letting my body recover, I've had a really good stretch of days of recovering. So